Thoughts on what makes some people stronger and more capable than others? How do they handle life's ups and downs in such a simple way? I've met some strong people in my life, and I'm always amazed at how they keep going when everyone else gives up. If they have good luck charms or something else that makes them smarter than other people, your mental strength or weakness is often determined by the way you think and the things you do. Simply put, mental weakness means not being able to bounce back from setbacks or deal with worry. What exactly makes someone mentally or emotionally weak? Feelings of helplessness, depression, and being quickly thrown off balance by life's ups and downs can all be signs of weakness. The answer will be shown in today's important Stoic philosophy, takes you on a journey to understand your own soul, where you will learn how to quietly get rid of 10 bad habits that make you weak. Before we start, I want to challenge you to watch the video all the way through and not miss a single lesson. Just one of these lessons can change your life by helping you get rid of things that aren't necessary and live a more fulfilling life. Number 1. Blaming others for your problems. Before I talk about the first habit, I have a question for you. Have you ever found yourself in the shadow of blame? When life takes an unexpected turn, we tend to point the finger at others as a way to protect our ego. But Stoicism encourages us to shine a light on this shadow, showing us a way to personal empowerment and peace. Let me tell you a story from ancient times about the philosopher Opus Epicus, who was born into slavery but found freedom. Just think about what would have happened if Epictetus had given in to guilt. Would his lessons have made it to the shores of our consciousness today? When you think about your own life, can you think of a time when blaming others actually helped you feel better? Or did it get in the way of your growth? Stoicism doesn't tell us to ignore what other people do, but to realize that our power lies in how we react to them. It teaches us to ask ourselves, what am I able to control? This question is like a lighthouse, pointing us away from the stormy seas of blame and toward the calm. Let's challenge ourselves to follow this Stoic advice. When we want to blame someone, let's pause and think, how can I handle this situation in a way that shows my inner strength and values? When we live responsibly, we can have a more peaceful and energetic life, learn more about our abilities, and turn problems into chances to grow. You have a choice, and that choice gives you freedom. Number 2. Not stepping out of your comfort zone. Have you ever felt the start of a dream or goal, but couldn't move forward because of the invisible chains of comfort? This is a familiar story that happens everywhere and at any time. Even though they are safe and comfortable, cages hold us back from our full potential. Many thanks, Rufus is not well known, but he is very smart. Stoic philosophers thought that learning how to think was only part of learning how to live. They pushed their students to not only think critically, but also to follow through on what they said they would do and face their fears head-on. He did this because he knew that growth doesn't happen on a calm shore, but in a rough sea of challenges. Stoicism tells us that facing hardships on purpose is the only way to not only show how good we are, but also make them stronger. Just like muscles get stronger when they're worked out, our character gets stronger when it's put to the test. When we leave our comfort zone, we don't just step into the unknown, we step into our power. We learn that our abilities aren't fixed, but can grow. We find that fear isn't a wall, but a gate waiting to be opened. So remember that if you want to grow, discomfort is your friend. Embrace it with courage and curiosity, and think about what you'd try if you knew you couldn't fail. Let the answers guide you. Get out of your safe zone. Let's see how many people can finish this little challenge. Number 3. Being overly concerned with fame and fortune. Have you ever dreamed that your name was in lights, or that you were rich beyond measure? This is a familiar dream that comes from the way our culture values fame and money. Take a moment to think about the life of Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher. Even though he was very powerful and well-known, Marcus found comfort in writing in his journal, where he wrote about the benefits of being humble, how claims are temporary, and how true worth is found in self-mastery and service. His writings make us think about what really makes our souls happy. Stoicism teaches us that seeking pleasures from the outside world is a dangerous path. Feeling down because fame is just other people's opinions and wealth is just things you can lose just as quickly as you gain them? Let's think about this. Have you ever reached a long-term goal only to find that the happiness was short-lived? Now imagine living a life where your worth isn't based on awards or possessions, but on the strength of your character, the depth of your compassion, and the contributions you make to the world around you. This is the Stoic pursuit. I hope you think about your own life. Would you let the pursuit of fame and fortune get in the way of more meaningful endeavors in any field? How might your life change if you redirected that energy toward personal growth and the betterment of others? Finally, let us remember that true happiness and fulfillment come not from external validation of fame and fortune, but from internal validation of living an ethical and purposeful life. Let this Stoic wisdom guide us towards a fulfilling and meaningful life. Number 4. Quitting in the face of hardship. Have you ever stood at the base of a mountain, either literally or figuratively, and felt the weight of the trip ahead? Stoicism's ancient wisdom helps us find our way when the road is steep and our spirit falters. Cato the Younger was a recognized figure not only for his political savvy, but also for sticking to his beliefs even when things got tough. I want to tell you his story. Cato's life shows the Stoic idea that our character is shown not in times of ease, but in times of trouble. When Cato was faced with extreme hardship rather than giving in to tyranny, he chose the path of honor. His story is a powerful reminder that the essence of courage is not avoiding trouble, but how we deal with it. So when you face a challenge, what is your first thought? Either run back to the safety of what you know or keep going through the pain. Stoicism tells us that every problem is a chance to get better. Life's storms make us stronger and teach us more about what it means to be truly resilient. So the next time you feel like giving up, remember the legacy of those who have been here before you. Let's welcome our struggles with open arms, knowing that every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory over the forces that want to hold us back. As Seneca once said, "There is no favorable wind for a sailor who does not know where he is going." Number 5. Letting your emotions rule you. Have you ever been swept away by a storm of emotions only to wonder how you could have reacted differently? It's a common experience that shows how powerful emotions are in shaping our lives and decisions. But Stoicism can help you find your way through these rough waters. Let me tell you a story about Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism. He lost everything in a shipwreck, but instead of giving up, he used it as a chance to find inner wealth. His journey led him to the realization that our emotions should not be our masters, but rather signs that we should understand and follow. Zeno's journey from grief to enlightenment shows how to master your emotions by seeing them not as enemies, but as teachers. Think about how often you've let your emotions control your actions, and imagine how much stronger you could become if you stopped, observed your emotions, and chose a response that was in line with your values. Stoicism doesn't tell us to hide our feelings, but to change how we relate to them. It teaches us that even though we can't change the world around us, we can change how we react to it. That's where our real power lies. So the next time you feel like your emotions are getting the best of you, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what would a Stoic do? This simple question can help you get back on track by reminding you that you have the strength to make using our problems as stepping stones to a good and peaceful life. Remember that it's not the lack of emotions that makes us who we are, but how we deal with the waves of our inner world. Number 6. Promote ego over inner wisdom. As we learn more about ourselves and the world, we will talk about something that is deeply rooted in our lives but is often forgotten: the tendency to put ego over inner wisdom. Have you ever noticed how the ego screams for attention, wanting to be noticed and approved of, while the gentle voice of inner knowledge speaks, waits patiently to be heard? This is a fight we all face, as the loud demands of our egos often drown out the deep, quiet guidance of our inner selves. Let's think about a story from ancient Stoicism. Epicus was a slave who became a philosopher and taught people how to live in harmony with nature and themselves. Epictetus thought that the greatest victory was defeating oneself by putting intellect above ego. He saw the ego as a tyrant ruled by desire and fear, while wisdom brings freedom and peace. Imagine for a moment what would have happened if Epicus had let his circumstances or ego define him. Would his insights have reached and inspired others? Stoicism helps us understand that true strength, happiness, and wisdom don't come from outside praise, but from being in tune with our true selves. It teaches us to question our motivations to see if we are driven by the fleeting demands of ego or the timeless guidance of wisdom. Let us start a daily practice of introspection by asking ourselves, is this the voice of my ego or my inner wisdom speaking? Let this question guide your choice, leading you towards actions that reflect your true values and essence. In embracing this Stoic lesson, we find not only peace but a deeper connection to ourselves and the world around us. We discover that by diminishing the voice of ego and amplifying the voice of inner wisdom, we unlock the doors to a life of authenticity, purpose, and joy. Number 7. Dwelling on the past. You might like me. Have you ever found yourself stuck in the past? This is a natural habit that keeps us tied to moments that we no longer remember, keeping us from fully embracing the present and all the possibilities it holds. Let me share with you some wise words from Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher. Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. Marcus Aurelius, whose empire was very big and his tasks were very complicated, knew it was pointless to get caught up in things that couldn't be changed. He believed that the present was the only real place where we could act, make choices, and live by our principles. Stoicism tells us that our past doesn't have to control our present or future. It tells us to recognize our past, learn from it, and then bravely look forward. This philosophy doesn't ignore the past. Instead, it puts it in perspective, giving us the power to live fully in the present, which is where our power really lies. As we go through life's challenges, let's try to develop a mindset that honors the past, realizing that every moment is a chance to write a new chapter in our lives and take charge of our own paths. Let us follow the path of Stoicism with open hearts and minds, using its lessons to help us let go of the past. When we cherish the present and look to the future with hope and determination, we unlock the full potential of our lives and leave a legacy of wisdom, virtue, and peace. If you're ready to unlock your full potential, show your resolve by commenting, "Live in the present moment." Let's not let the darkness of the past stop us. Number 8. Complaining about things outside your control. This is why complaining doesn't help. Energy drain. Being negative about things you can't change drains your mental and emotional energy without giving you anything good in return. Bad effects on mood. Constantly complaining can make bad feelings worse and make you see life in a negative light, not getting anything done. Complaining doesn't fix issues or make things better. It's basically pointless work. Changing your point of view. Pay attention to what you can change. Focus your attention on the parts of the situation you can change instead of dwelling on the parts you can't. This could include how you act, what you say, or how you decide to react. Accept things as they are. Giving up on things you can't change doesn't mean you're giving up. It just means you've decided not to waste your time or energy on things you can't change. Take a moment to recognize what's going on and then think about how you can change or move on. Focusing on the things you can change and the good things in your life will help you develop the habit of thanks. If you're complaining, this might help you see things in a more positive light. Find solutions. Instead of complaining, use your energy to find answers or different options. This proactive attitude can help things change for the better and give you the strength to deal with problems. Ways to get stronger and more resilient. Writing in a journal. Every day, write down something you're grateful for in a gratitude notebook. This can help you train your mind to think about the good things in life. Mindfulness meditation. Think about your thoughts and feelings more often when you do mindfulness meditation. If you find yourself complaining about something you can't change, gently bring your attention back to the present. Exercise for empathy. Think about what someone else is going through. They might be having an even harder time than you are. This can help you understand how other people are feeling and make you more compassionate. Cutting down on complaints. Make it a goal to not complain about things you can't change for a day or even a week. You should stop complaining whenever you feel like it and think of something else. Making complaints about things you can't change is a bad habit that can hurt your health and productivity. You can become more resilient and have a better attitude on life by changing your point of view, focusing on what you can control, and practicing gratitude. Don't forget that you can choose how to handle problems, even if you can't change the situations themselves. Everyone has probably done this at least once, complaining about things we can't change, like the weather, traffic, or other people's actions. It's easy to let these outside factors affect our mood and day, but Stoicism can help us break this habit by helping us understand that even though we can't change the world around us, we do have the power to change our own reactions to it. Think about what Epicurus said, a Stoic philosopher who taught that our suffering comes not from events, but from how we think about them. He told his students to separate what they could control, their thoughts, feelings, and actions, from what they couldn't. This difference is at the heart of Stoic tranquility. Think about the last time you complained about something that wasn't in your control. What happened? Did your complaints change the situation, or did they make you feel worse? Stoicism doesn't tell us to control our natural reactions. Instead, it tells us to change how we think about things and how we react to them. By adopting this way of thinking, we change how we deal with the problems that come up in life. We learn to deal with them not with anger, but with fairness and strength. As we move forward, let's challenge ourselves to adopt this Stoic practice. The next time we're about to complain about something outside of our control, let's stop and ask ourselves, is this something I can change? If the answer is no, let's focus on what we can change, our thoughts, attitudes, and actions. By doing this, we not only make our own inner worlds more peaceful, but we also encourage those around us to think about how they deal with life's uncontrollable events. Stoic wisdom can help us create a life of greater contentment, purpose, and joy. By embracing this Stoic lesson, we find not only peace, but also a deeper connection to ourselves and the world around us. We learn that by muting the voice of ego and amplifying the voice of inner wisdom, we can create a life of authenticity, purpose, and joy. Number 9. Indulging in excessive pleasures. In our search for a good life, it's normal to want to avoid pain and seek pleasure. But Stoicism asks us to think about a more complex way to live. Stoics, who were wise ancient philosophers, taught that while pleasures are normal, too much indulgence can make us slaves, separating us from our deeper virtues and the essence of what it means to live a good life. Think about the short-lived happiness that comes from enjoying too much of a good thing, whether it's the temporary bliss of a lavish feast, the allure of endless entertainment, or the seductive pull of material possessions. Stoicism doesn't call for a life without pleasure. Instead, it tells us to enjoy life's pleasures in moderation, with awareness and gratitude, always keeping in mind that our ultimate goal is not pleasure itself, but a good and meaningful life. It teaches us to ask ourselves, does this pleasure add to my well-being or take away from it? Let us try to find a balance between pleasure and purpose, knowing that the richest life is one lived in accordance with this. This Stoic path doesn't take away from life's pleasures. Instead, it helps you enjoy them more, which leads to lasting peace and happiness. It can be tempting to give in to too many joys, but the long-term effects often outweigh the short-term pleasure. Immediate gratification versus long-term fulfillment. Indulging in too many pleasures can make you feel good in the short term, but it can often make you unhappy or hurt in the long term. Encourage your kids to think about what will happen if they do something that makes them feel good right now. Understanding limits. When it comes to indulging, it's important to know your own limits and bounds. Talk about how overindulging in something can cause addiction or dependency, whether it's food, pleasure, drugs, or something else. How it affects health. Many pleasures, like eating too much, abusing drugs, or spending too much time in front of a screen, can be bad for your mental and physical health. Stress. How important moderation is for living a good life. Effects on money. Indulging in too many joys can put a strain on money, which can lead to debt or unstable finances. Talk about how making a budget and spending money wisely can help you avoid the problems that come with overindulging. Well-being emotionally. Indulging too much can also hurt your mental health by making you feel guilty, ashamed, or empty. Tell your kids that instead of overindulging, they should find healthier ways to deal with stress or bad feelings. Building resilience. Teach your kids how important it is to wait to get what they want and to build resilience. Help them understand that fighting the urge to indulge too much can help them develop more self-control and discipline, which will lead to deeper benefits in life. Seeking balance. Stress. How important it is to have balance in your life. It's fine to treat yourself once in a while, but balance is key. Help your kids find a balance between enjoying the good things in life and being responsible and in control of themselves. Setting priorities. Get kids to think about what they value and what they think is most important. Instead of focusing only on short-term pleasures, suggest that they do things that will make them happy in the long run and are in line with their goals and ambitions. Asking for help. If someone is having trouble with overindulging, tell them to ask for help from friends, family, or professional resources. Recognize that it's not a sign of weakness to ask for help. Setting a good example. As a teacher, you should set a good example by having good habits and being responsible. As an example, show your kids that they can enjoy life and be happy without giving in to excessive indulgence. By teaching these lessons, teachers can make students more aware of what happens when they indulge in too many pleasures and teach them ways to live a healthy and satisfying life. Number 10. Fearing death. The fear of death often hangs over our lives, affecting the decisions we make and the experiences we have. But Stoicism tells us to face this fear head-on, not to get rid of it, but to understand what it is and how it fits into our lives. For example, Seneca, a Stoic philosopher who wrote a lot about life and death, said that fearing death is like fearing the sunset. It's a natural part of the cycle of existence. Stoicism teaches us that fearing death is fearing the unknown, and when we're afraid of the unknown, we forget to enjoy the present. Stoicism reminds us that even though we can't change the fact that death is inevitable, we do have a lot of control over how we live our lives. By following the Stoic principle of living in harmony with nature, we learn to appreciate the beauty of life, be good, and accept the natural cycle of life and death, so that we can go on living our lives. Getting rid of bad habits that make you mentally weak takes work, but you will get a good reward in the end. Remember that real strength is not running away from things, but facing them head-on with courage and compassion. Keep doing these things to have a great life. If you found today's journey with the Stoic philosophy inspiring, please like the video and leave a comment. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future ones.